Broadcasting from the 72nd floor of First Canadian Place in the heart of Toronto's financial district, this is #Finance, the podcast that profiles innovative entrepreneurs and thought leaders operating in the public markets. Presented to you by the CSE, the Exchange for Entrepreneurs.
Folks, we're back again with another episode of #Finance here on the 72nd floor of First Canadian Place. Today I'm joined by Chris Bursey of Direct Communication Solutions, Inc. And Chris and his company came all the way from San Diego and other places across North America today to open the market at the Canadian Securities Exchange. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. Pleasure to have you. Awesome.
Thank you.
We don't often have guests from San Diego, so maybe just tell me what was happening in San Diego before you guys made the trek to what has been a less than sunny Toronto today.
Well, first off, it was 75 and sunny, and I got to play golf before I came up, so it was, I got that out of the way.
Yeah, no, and having visited San Diego myself a few years ago, I can attest to its beauty and consistency. It's very consistent from a weather perspective. Now, a couple of things we want to just discuss today. So DCSI is a symbol on CSE. This company just recently listed, and I kind of want to get behind the story of how you guys decided to go public. It's a technology company based out of the United States, and these companies, typically would raise their money. They would never leave their own borders. They would stay in the U.S., maybe raise money from a VC or, in your case, a debenture. Maybe just walk us through how your path to market.
So really what happened was, we were a private company. We've been a private company for the last 10 years. We were looking at ways to raise money, didn't want to really go the private equity route, the VC route. A couple of my board members are Canadian, a couple of my key employees are Canadian. So, it really made sense for us to take a strong look at the CSE as our first stop. And, it's worked out well so far.
Right. And can you elucidate on that topic of venture capital and why that wasn't your path?
We wanted to raise some money and have access to capital, but I didn't want to give the company away.
The dilution.
Right.
I mean, do you find that's a common trade-off with the venture capitals is a lot, you got to give up a lot early to get a taste of capital injection?
I think it was a combination of that scared us a little bit, plus the fact that, we have a vision for the future and we want to be able to execute on that and not be constrained by outside forces that don't really understand our industry.
Sure. Okay. And I think maybe we can even touch on that a bit more after, but let's talk about that vision. So you have a vision, and that's what you're executing on today. What is that vision for those who need to know?
So what we're going to execute on in 2020 is we've got a couple of key initiatives that we're finalizing and we're going to be bringing to market in the next quarter or two. One is our wireless beer keg monitoring system, which we call Bursey. That will, we believe that's going to revolutionize how draft beer is monitored and monetized in the bar and restaurant industry.
Really?
With Bursey itself, a couple of key critical monitoring features of it. It will monitor temperature from the keg, flow down to the ounce from the keg, CO2 pressure, which is critical for all draft beer or sodas, anything in a bar and restaurant. And then we also built in shutoff valves. So that will really kind of minimize the after hours pours, the free drinks, and it really kind of decreases the liability issue from a bar owner where, if last call's at 10 p.m., that at least all your kegs are shut off at 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And no employees are coming in afterwards and they're pouring beer, they're giving it out, they're cleaning up, drinking beer. And then you can take that data from the keg and monetize that and say, all right, X amount of ounces were poured. How come I only charged for Y? And what's the delta? And then you can monetize that from a bar owner's perspective.
I can attest to that because I know I worked at a very popular high-volume beer sales bar in Toronto about 15 years ago. And one of the oldest tricks in the book was to pour from the cheaper draft and sell it as a higher end draft.
Right.
Because drunk customers don't know.
You're right.
And
and I mean, if you look at the industry in general, depending on which report you look at or which analyst or, survey, the average loss per keg of beer is about 20%.
Wow.
So if
Really?
we can take that down to, 5%, and, again, you're looking at $5, $6, $7, $8 pints.
Yep.
It adds up fast. So the cost savings is there. It's just educating people and showing them that now there's a tool and a IoT device that will help them monetize their beer losses.
What was that device that was on the hard liquor pours? Was it a Tazol, or I forget what that was called? But
there's a couple of them.
Yeah, they basically would pour a perfect ounce, and you'd lose,
right,
shrinkage or whatever you want to call it, over porridge. So, okay, in a roundabout way, we've talked about what the company does, which is IoT solutioning, right?
Yes.
Okay, and other than the beer keg monitoring, which I think is a very important cause, I think you guys are solving a real problem. Anything else you guys are working on in the next?
We are. So we're working on our own line of sensors as well. So we're designing and we'll be launching our sensors in probably early Q2. So they'll be Bluetooth 5.1. And the cool thing about what we're doing with our sensors is, traditionally everybody's doing one monitoring touch point per sensor. So they'll do like temperature or humidity or door open, door close. So the sensor we're designing in-house will basically support 7 functions. It'll support temperature, humidity, light, door open, door close, barometric air pressure, 3XS accelerometer, and a panic button. And the reason we built the panic button in is it can be dual purpose for, whatever you want to do. If you want to just have an event-based thing, you push the panic button or the button. But it's really, we put that in there really for like walk-in refrigerators.
Right. I'm stuck.
So if you look at it, if somebody gets locked in a walk-in refrigerator, there's no way to communicate. They can now push this button on there. It'll send an alert to whoever's on the alert that's user-defined, and then you can go let them out. That's one example.
That's one example. Okay. Yeah, no, I get that. You said Bluetooth 5.1. What's changing in the world of Bluetooth that I just know that
Bluetooth, we went with Bluetooth 5 basically because it's the latest technology, longer range, mesh technology, it's the latest technology, right? So, and that's always the challenge in our space, is trying to keep in front of that technology curve because it's always changing.
Sure. And so back to where you guys are from, San Diego is known globally as a technology startup hub, and it's in the intersect of finance there. What has influenced that and created that environment? I don't know how long you've lived there and done business there, but obviously you have the military influence, a huge Navy base and training and whatnot. But what else? What else is contributing to that culture of innovation?
Oddly enough, the military actually took me to San Diego, so that's how I ended up in San Diego, was via the military. I would say Qualcomm, right? Qualcomm's a huge presence in San Diego, employs tons of people, and pretty much everything we work with on the IoT side via cellular is based on a Qualcomm chipset.
Wow. So what did you do in the military? What was your... I
was actually an air traffic controller.
Oh, wow.
2 aircraft carriers. So.
Oh, wow. So, I would say to any listeners, do go down there, go visit the, was it the Midway?
I actually served on the Midway for 4 years in Yokosuka, Japan, before it was a museum. So, yes, go down and see it. It's an awesome experience.
Is it not the plane they use in, and this is topical because we're going to see the sequel this year, but Top Gun. It was it might have been the carrier they used in that film.
I don't know. I think that was the Vincent.
Was the Vincent? Okay, fine. I'll take that. We'll do it. We'll do a fact check on that after. But yeah, it's. I'm pretty sure. I'll believe you over my bad memory.
This is one of them.
Okay, so just to round out the conversation, so you go through this military experience, air traffic controlling on aircraft carriers, and when did your entrepreneurial career start? And when did you decide, I'm not going to be doing this anymore? I'm going to start forging my own path as an entrepreneur.
About 10 years ago when I started DCS.
Oh, wow. So the company's 10 years old.
Yeah. So I started out with Novatel Wireless, which is now in Sago.
Yeah.
Worked for Motorola, worked for CalAmp for a year. And then I just, figured I could do it better and saw the opportunity and I took it.
Right. And are there any principles or models or influences on your career as an entrepreneur that you carry forward today? So I always think of people who have mentors or they have people that inspired them to take that path.
It was I live by the Grizzly Bear Theory, right? I mean, you have to run faster than the slowest person, and good enough is not good enough.
Right.
So if you work hard, you can do whatever you want.
It's sometimes not that complicated, is it?
It's not. It's I think honestly a lot of it's the fear factor. People don't want to take that entrepreneurial step and venture out on their own because it is scary, right? You got to make payroll, you got to take care of your people, you got to pay the bills, and
a lot of people are dependent on you and the things you decide to do.
No, and it's it's funny. I was looking at we had our holiday party a couple weeks ago, and employees brought their spouses or significant others, and I was looking around the room going, wow, there's like we have 32 employees, but there's like 60 people in here, and
plus children.
It sinks in, and you're like, wow, these people are all dependent on what we do and how we execute and how we how we do it day by day.
Yeah, no, it's a burden, but it's also an honor to be able to do that because you are impacting people's lives directly, and that's amazing. Okay, so like we discussed, I just want to wrap up by just saying a few things and ask you one more question, which is, if someone's listened to this and they're just coming across this company for the first time, where should they get more information? Maybe if they're a prospective customer or they want to invest, where should they start looking for more information on how you guys are changing the world in sensor technology and IoT?
So they can reach out to myself, or they can reach out to Bill Espley, who's one of our board members and one of our investor relations contact. And that information's on our website if they want to reach out via phone or email.
And I believe it's on our website as well, thecsu.com. Just type in DCSI under the search and you'll find it. Okay, well, thank you so much for Chris. I really appreciate the fact that you traveled all this way to be here today.
Thank you.
I want to thank our listeners. I want to thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe below. And if you're listening on Google, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, anywhere podcasts are, we'd love to have you as a subscriber as well on #Finance. And twice a week, we tape these shows, and we're really, again, Chris is a great example of the great people that we get to interview. So thanks again, and have a wonderful time in Toronto.
Thank you.
We're social here at the CSE. Each and every day we'll keep you up to date on trending topics that investors are talking about, such as cannabis, blockchain, and esports. Follow daily CSE news and events on your favorite social media platform: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You'll find exclusive interviews with leading entrepreneurs from a variety of industries, thought-provoking stories from across the world of finance, and updates from CSE events taking place worldwide. Join the conversation and connect with us today.